Hello and welcome to New Game Plus. I am Tim. I am once again joined by Kirsty. How are you?
Yeah, I am very good. I'm getting very excited. We've got a very exciting episode coming up. We are, of course, kind of looking back over the past 6 months and having a think about what kind of games came out.
Yeah, there was a few good games, but I think overall it's been a bit of a quiet.
It has been a bit of a quiet few months. I think it's been interesting to observe that simply because obviously we had the new generation kickstart last year.
Yeah.
Where have all the games gone? It's kind of like, okay, this was the reason that the end of the last generation was so quiet, but then suddenly there's not much happening.
It seems like they've all been pushed into early next year.
Exactly. I think 2015 looks amazing for video games, but until then we're just kind of limping through.
But there were some good picks, and we're looking over that in this episode, and
which is very exciting.
We've got a couple of segments as well with Old Game Plus, looking at some stuff, as well as anime.
Anime, your favourite thing, of course, of all time. So we're going to be looking over, again, the past 6 months. It's been very interesting in anime, actually. I've really enjoyed some great products have come up, not necessarily just for anime, but for anime viewing. Some great products have come out, and I'm really excited. I mean, I'm really starting to get into anime again, the reason being, as we go to air, most of us are getting ready to go to Tokyo Game Show, which is coming up. I'm so excited. Like, literally, it's coming up in like a week as we go to film. So that's really, really exciting. We're going to have, of course, some great coverage coming from Japan for you. And we'll be actually gone for quite a while, which is even more exciting. It's like, I just can't wait for the heat and for not sleeping in Tokyo. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So,
and you'll certainly have a lot of fun, but I think we should go into the episode.
My pick for Game of the Year so far would have to be Wolfenstein: The New Order, and it's actually for a number of reasons. For starters, it's a really great game that mixes in the shooting tropes of contemporary shooters with the shooting tropes of 90s shooters. Like, for instance, you can dual wield, there are health and armor pickups, you can carry more than 2 guns at once, that sort of thing. Not to mention it also rewards you for trying out different playstyles and never really punishes you for taking one style over another. Like, for instance, I tend to play stealthy, and oh my god, it is the best first-person stealth I've played in such a long time. Not to mention the story, the characters and the settings are all better than you'd think they'd be. Like, the 1960s as ruled by the Nazis is actually one of the more refreshing settings I've played in a while, and the story and the characters are, honest to god, much better written than I expected. I mean, it's been actually a better year than you'd think. Like, you got games like Hearthstone being really good, Shovel Knight also being really awesome, even things like South Park: A Stick of Truth, which you shouldn't expect to be great, and hell, the next couple of months are looking pretty great with games like, Disney Infinity, Forza Horizon 2, that sort of thing. But if I had to pick a game of the year right now, it has to be Wolfenstein: The New Order.
It's been one of those diamond in the rough years where you've had a lot of shit, and then you've had diamonds in the shit, then you mine through the shit to get to the diamonds, and then you sell the diamonds. Wait, that's a Flash game. No. Transistor, one of those diamonds. It was a game developed by the creators of Bastion, one of the most loved, second loved most indie game. Let's not talk about Braid, because, puzzles and shit. Fuck that. But no, the combat. It was a mix between Diablo and maybe a turn-based strategy, and it melded really, really well together. Like, you could merge these two abilities together and make totally new abilities that felt really, really great to use. And it was like passives that you could use, and it just felt really, really nice in the combats to play. It was totally different than anything else was out there, but it was just felt so, I guess, easy to use. And it was just really, really, really fun. Its art style was amazing. It was so, the world was vast and spread, even though you were on a singular path. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy. Music. Music was amazing also. Everything is amazing, but and voices. They brought back the voices from Bastion. That's all you needed to do to make a really good game. And guess what? They did it. Now, that was one of my first games of the half year. My second one, Dark Souls 2. It basically is Dark Souls 1, it's just with a 2 in front of it. But what really needed to be changed? The combat was a little bit changed a little bit there, but voices was there, visuals was there, music was there, everything just felt the same, and that's all it needed to be.
So we're talking about games of the half year, and there hasn't been many games up to this point, has there?
It's been very disappointing. There's been a real lack of Amiga releases this year. But there have been some games that are good enough to be on Amiga.
I've enjoyed a few games, but not so much A titles. what was it called? Earth Defense Force 2025 was an awesome, fun game. It wasn't a, cracking A title, but it was the most fun I've had on a game this year. What about you?
Oh, look, Garden Warfare for me. It's been just so much fun. People might write it off as a kiddie game, but it is just fantastic fun. And another one I've liked, Mario Kart 8. Great work by Nintendo again. Some of the best games at the moment are on Wii U, so real missed opportunity by Sony and Microsoft.
PS4 and Xbox One, two new consoles and no games for them. It's like they've been released like 12 months too early.
Yeah, well, the Wii U has that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, another great game. Yeah. All good enough to be Amiga games. Deus Ex HR Director's Cut came out this year, so I'm going to grab that in as a nomination as well for Game of the Half Year, because that's my favourite game of all time.
And that brings us to another point. All the re-releases of games from last gen and last year appearing on the modern consoles, they're not new games. We can't review them as games of the year because they've already come out before.
Yeah, and the PlayStation 4 is currently the best console to play PlayStation 3 games on.
Yeah.
So great value for money there.
And did you bring these mongrels here? Just to watch you die. Conquerors.
So I'm here to talk about the movies of the half year, and it's been, so far, 2014 has been the year of the franchise and the sequel. So we've had a lot of ones: Captain America and Winter Soldier, 22 Jump Street, How to Train Your Dragon 2, all these sort of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, all these franchise big mega blockbusters. But they've all been pretty good, with the exception of Godzilla, which was crap. Don't watch Godzilla. But the ones I mentioned before, excellent. How to Train Your Dragon 2, built on the first one, lovable characters, really engaging, cool story, and they're flying on dragons, so that's pretty cool. If you want to go for a more sort of less blockbuster thing, the Coen Brothers had a new film out, Inside Llewyn Davis. So the Coen Brothers mixed with folk music, you cannot go wrong. It was excellent, and as with most Coen Brothers film, kind of a tragic hero who's doomed to fail, but you just want to watch it anyway. Highly recommended. If we want to go for one more recommendation, I'm going to go for Snowpiercer. It's a sci-fi film set in a dystopian future. The world is sort of some sort of nuclear wasteland, except for one train circling the globe. And everything is not quite as it seems, as a group of these sort of third-class passengers fight their way up the train. With Chris Evans, really great film, worth watching. And that's my movies of the half year.
Okay, so my game of the half year was tied between 3, and that's Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle, and South Park Stick of Truth. And I'm just going to piss right into the wind right here and say that none of them are games that require a lot of skill. They don't have particularly high skill ceilings or floors, but they are probably some of the most fun I've had playing video games in a long time, and that's probably because I've become cynical over the years. But South Park Stick of Truth is just so absolutely true to the franchise. It's so much fun to play, and it's actually a really solid game in itself. It's the same with Hearthstone and JoJo. JoJo is a game where you can just pick your favorite character from the anime and just have so much fun beating the absolute crap out of your friends. And Hearthstone is definitely nowhere near as complicated as most other card games, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun to get into and play. All of them are typically really simple, all of them are really fun to get into and play, and I definitely heartily recommend every single one.
Now for my game of the half year, I'm going to get a few tuts and a few rolling of eyes. It's quite controversial, but I'm just going to say it right now. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Now, there's a few criticisms and people are still skeptical of the game even after its release due to its length, people referring to it as a demo. But fortunately for me, I've never had to have that issue because I've actually racked up about 20 to 30 hours of game time on it alone. Not on the Phantom Pain, on Ground Zeroes. Now, as far as the game goes, it is the absolute upper echelon of stealth gameplay. So going around, sneaking around Camp Omega during the setting of the game, it allows you to go different routes at any given time. So you want to go as loud or as quiet as you want. You can go as gung-ho, trigger-happy, or you can just go in sneaking enemies without firing a single shot. Now, the amount of freedom that you have within this confined space is fantastic, and it's an incredible precursor to the epilogue of Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. Now, I can't wait to see what's in store for the full product, and Metal Gear Solid 5 just had me excited non-stop. Fantastic game. I recommend you go and play it already if you haven't. Now, it came really close between Metal Gear Solid 5 and Drakengard 3, but I'd also recommend playing Drakengard 3. Just give it a go. It's great stuff. Be sure to play both.
Now, we're doing game of the half year, but I think it's appropriate that we do anime of the half year as well.
Okay.
Because it's been a surprisingly good few seasons.
Yeah.
Of a lot of really cool stuff coming through. Perhaps not, genre-defining pieces, but there's been some good stuff. I'll pay that.
Maybe not genre defining, maybe genre merging, I guess, would be like, well, there's Makaku City Actors, which was kind of very much felt like the Monogatari series and the art style, but had a really, really kind of nice story of not disconnected, but connected at the same time. It did a little bit of Usual Suspects, where it flashes back, cuts forward, it all ties itself together, it all culminates in this one day, this one occurrence. Yeah. Even if you don't necessarily like or follow the story, the execution was spot on. Yeah. The art style is fantastic. Monogatari guys know what they're doing. The way it cuts together really well. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff. So definitely one of the better ones of the season. Yeah, there was also a few others there was the Hana Monogatari actually that was recently come out, which follow up on the Monogatari series. So Baka, just keeps going. But that was still very, very, very good. Very nice art style, great story always. Continues the quality basically. Yeah. But there's been a few outstanding ones. It's Hamatora. Not to be confused with Hamtaro, which is a different term. It's right. Well, yes, but it's not gonna. But no, there's what? Nanana's Treasure Chest. There's what? Tokyo Ghoul. I know you're not a big fan of Tokyo Ghoul. No. But I think for Monster of the Week, it does it very well. Yeah, but... and it takes it its own kind of angle. How he came to be a ghoul, I think is very... I don't know. I thought it was a lot better than a lot of the series from say 5 years ago who would have tried the same thing. Yeah, but there's also been a few others that I've really, really enjoyed. Something that's just not action based, very comedy that's Mina Kawaiso. It was one of really, really, really nice comedy that's kind of sweet, but also very, very funny, and it's just really, really nice Japanese kind of touch to it. Well, what would you say is the thing you've enjoyed the most in, say, the last 6 months, anime-wise? In the last 6 months, I've actually really, really enjoyed the comedies. That is one thing. In this season, there's been Sabakebu. Sabakebu, I was waiting for you to say it, because that is fucking great. Yes. Let's just cover that now. That's probably my pick of the last 6 months that I've enjoyed and watched and thought, I can watch this to completion. It's been one of those ones that almost kind of aimed a shoujo audience, but it's not... the storyline itself. It's self-aware, it's stupid,
It like picks on its own tropes.
Yeah.
It does the fan service for a point. It's not just fan service.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably been my favorite pick of the 6 months so far. But what about you?
I'd probably include that. There's been a few ones that in the new season even, like I guess Alunda Zero I'm really enjoying. I did really like Kawaiso from last season, but I guess probably have to go with Sabakeba too.
Fair enough. Good call.
Now, it's been a big year for trailers, hasn't it?
It has. We have talked about, at the start of this episode, that it's the year of delaying things, but the trailers have been keeping this hype kind of going. And going.
A lot of these really hyped games are coming out early next year, and of course, the trailers have to be released beforehand to run the hype.
Yeah,
and
they've got to do something at E3.
Probably one of the biggest ones with length and, of course, size. Metal Gear Solid: The Phantom Pain.
And
number
this,
5.
wow, like this was a really intense trailer and the whole,
Yeah.
I mean, that's inspired a whole new level of little jokes.
Yep.
But that has been really intense.
Yeah, the trailer itself as well, it really shows off Kojima just
Absolutely.
Stretching what he can do with a game. And it is an impressive trailer. Obviously, we can't show it all because it is a long trailer, but certainly something to look up online. But there was some other good trailers as well, like the new Warlords of Draenor World of Warcraft trailer and the Witcher 3 trailer as well.
Here we go. Yeah, that's right. of
Hunting
course.
monsters.
Yeah.
Geralt is just a badass, whatever he does.
Yeah, whatever he does.
Now, I think my pick for Game of the Half Year is probably very similar to other people. Of course, South Park: The Stick of Truth was the best thing that came out in the first half of the year. It was not only very funny for all South Park viewers and probably some non-South Park viewers, it had solid combat and a great story, lots of stuff you can do in the game, lots of collectibles. It was challenging on the harder difficulties. You had to really strategize and think about how you're approaching battles, especially the boss fights. Sometimes you would have to change your loadout, your person who you were with. Butters was always funny with the healing touch and he'd pat you on the back. Fantastic game. Cannot be beaten for Game of the Half Year, although there were a couple of other good games. Infamous Second Son was surprisingly good. It was more of the same, Infamous, but it was an improvement on the formula, and I had a lot of fun playing through it twice, both evil and good, but there's not too much difference between those two playthroughs. And last of all, WildStar. Had to pick something that was PC exclusive. WildStar was a lot of fun for an MMO. It really changed up the formula a lot. Very action-based mechanics. I love the combat in the game, and it's really what keeps me coming back to the game is the combat. It's a lot of fun. It's not just stand there, go through your rotations and wait for the guy to fall over. It was good fun, great universe, sci-fi sort of world, loved it, but in the end, South Park Stick of Truth.
Now, normally we have Christmas 2 Electric Boogaloo every February, March of every year. And we had some good games. We had Titanfall, we had blah, 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 blah. But there are only really 3 that register on my radar as anything that made me go, oh my God, I have to have it. In position 3, I would have to say, it's gotta be, makes me sad, yes I know, South Park Stick of Truth. Like, I love the game, it was great fun, but it was not the game of the half year. It's very much Earthbound inspired. If you haven't played it, still play it. If you're a fan of the show, blah, 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 blah. Watch the review, they're still online. Very good game, but definitely my 3rd of the half year. 2nd, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. Fantastic multiplayer shooter. EA took a chance, and every time EA take a chance, they tend to do really well. Shadows of the Damned, Mirror's Edge, Garden Warfare. They'll never make any of those, except for Mirror's Edge, which I'm still surprised at. But Garden Warfare, solid shooting mechanics, Horde mode's fantastic, multiplayer's fantastic, kid-friendly, really supportive community, if you can find a game nowadays, unfortunately, which makes me sad. Hopefully the next gen brings some cool stuff with it. Finally, the game of the half year so far, Wolfenstein. How do I care about such bland generic characters? That's what I keep asking myself whenever I play Wolfenstein. And I've played it back a few times just to make sure that I wasn't just imagining things. The stealth mechanics are there, the blow shit up mechanics are there, everything about the game just screams on that larger scale, here is what a AAA shooter used to be. Here is what a AAA game used to be. Enjoy. Mick Gordon's soundtrack's pretty good too.
Well, with that, we finally have reached the end of our Game of the Half Year. Timmy, how exciting.
Yes, a lot of votes came for something that I was very, very happy with this year. And I think the winner comes out as South Park, The Stick of Truth.
Yes,
fantastic game.
Very well deserved. Feels very good. Of course, number 2 went to Hearthstone. Okay, we're going to argue about this for a while, which was also another great one because it was a bit of a free-to-play game.
Yep. Easily approachable. Maybe people looking to get into Magic. Just some sort of halfway point.
Exactly.
And really done well with that.
Yeah. Now, number 3, of course, was Plants vs. Zombies, which was a big surprise. Garden Warfare.
Bit of an interesting one because it was originally Xbox exclusive for a timed amount and like now coming out on PS4 and PC. So yeah, a bit of an interesting game there. Number 4, which was a bit of a surprise, was Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Which was, I mean, there's that AAA title, I suppose, other AAA title going into the top 4, but obviously well deserved. And number 5, the indie darling Transistor.
Yes, from Supergiant Games, known for Bastion, fantastic game.
Absolutely.
But honourable mentions have to go to Valiant Hearts.
Yes, thank you.
Donald is not here, and he has been campaigning that everyone should play this game. And
absolutely, he loves this game. It's probably the closest thing to Walking Simulator 2014 we've had, which it's not. So that's really exciting. Plus, of course, the other honourable mention is Mario Kart 8, which was my choice. Great game. I mean, the Luigi death stare. What a cultural impact that's kind of had. But Timmy, what's the one game you're looking forward to in the next 6 months? Well, 3 months because it's Sophie September.
No. You said 6 months, so I'm going to go Witcher 3 because it's February next year.
Well, I just shot myself right in the foot.
Very keen for that. What about you?
Super Smash Brothers. Yes. If I said anything else, I'd be hung, drawn, and quartered. But I'm actually genuinely excited for Smash Brothers and gutted that I'm going to be in Japan. Like the middle of my trip is when it comes out. It comes out on my birthday, and it kills me because I'm going to region locking. The worst thing Nintendo's ever done because now I can't play Smash Brothers on my Australian DS until I get back.
You'll just have to buy everything in Japan.
That's
just
what
so
I plan to do.
Yeah.
I do not care. I will play that game come hell or high water. I'm really excited for it. But of course, guys, if you have any input, if you think we're wrong, which we're not, but you can have your opinions. Don't forget you can get in touch with us over the social medias, however you want to.
On the Facebook, have a discussion about was it a good year?
Absolutely.
Our picks mightn't have aligned with your picks, but certainly visit our website www.newgameplus.tv.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/NewGamePlusTV.
Follow our Twitters and Instagrams at NewGamePlusTV.
And watch our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/NewGamePlusTV.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Thank you, Timmy, and we'll see you guys next week.